Hello, and welcome to Galactic Realms. I'm the lead developer of the team, Colin Osman. This video is an introduction to our first game in the Galactic Realms universe called Quest for the Forgotten. So, Quest for the Forgotten was born from the creative director Roddy's universe and one of my personal dream projects. The concept of this project has really taken a lot of different shapes throughout the planning process, but finally we have our solid outline for the game, which I'll share with you now. The best way that I can find to explain it is to start by going through the inspirations that we had for the game. So first off, there's Chivalry 2. It's the inspiration for our core combat mechanics with our melee weapons, at least. In my opinion, really, Chivalry 2 has the best first-person melee mechanics in any game that I've ever played. They do a great job at making the swings and impacts feel great, and we've been taking a lot of inspiration from their formula. There's a lot more I can go in depth with that, but I'll save that for a future video, so stay tuned for that one. In terms of progression and longer term gameplay, there's another inspiration that I took from a game called Escape from Tarkov. In that game, the mechanic that we are taking inspiration from is where you set your loadout for your character before you enter into the game. And if you die while in the game, you lose all items that you brought on your character. You have a persistent stash that's always safe, but you take items from that stash to take into combat. If you successfully extract, you do keep all of your items and you keep anything that you managed to gain while you were in the dungeon. There's a few exceptions to this rule. There are going to be a couple items that you keep no matter what happens, but by and large, anything you bring in will be susceptible to being lost if you die in the dungeon. You'll traverse the dungeon level by level, and the progression will feel similar to something like the original Call of Duty Zombies, where deeper levels mean more difficult enemies, but in our case there's actually going to be a lot more depth than that. As you traverse through a dungeon level, you're going to find more enemies, loot, story elements, quest objectives, and many other secrets, resources, and things of that nature scattered among the level. At the end of any dungeon level, you have the option to extract from the dungeon and return to the safe zone, saving your progress in the dungeon, or progressing to the next dungeon level. Each dungeon level is going to be using a sort of procedural generation system combined with handcrafted areas. So essentially we have a procedural system that takes our pre-built chunks and populates any given dungeon level based on the parameters set, which will vary depending on your actual gameplay decisions. There will be a significant amount of chunks in this generation, which keeps the gameplay and locations feeling fresh and new as you go back to play more. And in addition, you'll be traversing to different areas as you delve deeper or do certain objectives, bringing you to new challenges and locations to explore as you continue in the dungeon. The experience will very much be very sandboxy, and what I mean by that, your decisions will vary depending on just what you feel like doing at that time. So that might be exploring the farthest reaches of the dungeon just to see how far you can get, how many difficult enemies you can take down. It could mean that there's a specific piece of gear that you're trying to get, so you're grinding for it, or you're trying to get to a specific location that has a higher chance of dropping that gear. Or it could be that you want to complete the game's story and complete all the quests and story objectives throughout the dungeons. Ultimately, the choice is yours. Our development team is comprised of a lot of great people working hard every day to create the mechanics, art, sound, marketing, and much more to make this game a reality. Many of them are actually active in our Discord, so really feel free to check it out and even ask us questions directly. As of now, we're putting together our initial early backer alpha to give a select few players the first hands-on experience of the game. So between now and then, expect more videos covering our goals and progress. Stay tuned on YouTube and Discord to stay up to date with us, and we hope to see you in our new universe soon.